Okay, let's get into this. All right, so we are taking a look at what really happened, reflecting on what really happened in the mountain and giving our general view on what our political arena should be. We are trying to make it quite as hygienic as possible. With Dr. saying that we need to move away from what we are seeing in terms of the chaos that erupts out there, and just have it nice and clean. All right, so let's come back to you, Odoyo. I asked the same question. Is it possible to just change the status quo, run away from it, and get a new set of politics as it should be, a clean one?
We cannot get as long as we have desperate politicians ready to capture whole communities to sing their song, talk their tune, and so on. Let me give you an example. When President William Ruto donated 20 million to a church, there was a lot of noise. In fact, even the people who went to demonstrate in the church that was wrong were embraced by the detractors of the president. But across the road at Kasarani Stadium, some times back, President Uhuru Kenyatta met the Akorino sect and gave them land worth 100 million, gave them 10 million on the spot for church projects, gave them another 1 million on the spot for the church leaders, and on the spot also took 4 Akorino sect members to be employed as parastatal chiefs. And nobody made noise about it. Nobody, and this was the time when Unga had gone to 250, fuel had gone to 250. Nobody said he was bribing the church. Nobody said he was using state resources to bribe the church. And you see, this is in this TV I saw another bishop come here and tell us that what the left hand gives, the right hand should not know. That is written in Matthew chapter 6. But it is the needy. On top there it's written what Jesus taught about giving the needy. If you are going to give something to the needy, make sure that what you give is not known by the public. But when you are giving to a church, to build a church, not only the public should know, but even the church leadership. That is what King David did when he was building the first temple that he collected resources. King David himself announced that he's giving 100,000 kilograms of gold and 200 kilograms of silver to build the church for the Lord. That was announced. That is what the Bible expects, that things that go to the work of God are announced. The ones that go to help the needy are not announced. But people misinterpret this thing because they are looking for anything they can find to attack the president. So let us be fair to the president. Let us be fair to this country, because for now, until 2027, it is President William Ruto we have. The only way of supporting Kenya is supporting him to deliver whatever little he can deliver. But when we go biased, when we call leaders by names, greedy watchdog, reckless duo, tyrant, and those are headlines of newspapers to individuals, I think we are getting it all wrong.
Okay. Let's welcome Deputy Governor of Machakos, our neighbors across the road. Deputy Governor, karibu.
Asante.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
You had a great weekend.
Very.
You look so refreshed.
Yes.
Great.
And I thank God for that.
Karibu sana. Machakos is doing well?
We are trying, struggling like anybody else. You know, we have an anti-devolution establishment. My very good old friend, Owidi, is using so sweet words to justify, and you can see how he is labeling to put his point across. It tells you the challenges we are facing as a country, which Machakos is not an exceptional.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
May I jump in? May I jump in?
I thought you were going message is home.
Yes, message is home. You see, the thing is, I want to pick from his last point.
Yes.
The issue is not how much one the issue is not contributing to church, but the issue is how much and the status of the people you are giving. That is the point.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the people going to church to donate whatever they can donate. But how do you donate something worthy almost 100 times what we know you earn? That is what we are trying as a country to say, do what is justifiable.
What if you have it?
You have it from where? This money we are talking of, why can't we have somebody else who is not within the government donating the same? What is so special with the people you come to government and you start donating millions?
Okay.
Are we saying we do not have private sector persons who are not very well paid? Are we saying we do not have business persons in this country who are making money, who can donate equally the same? What is this special with I must be a deputy governor somewhere to go somewhere carrying money with sacks? Let us be realistic. If we are to develop this country, we must be realistic and do the right things. That is all Kenyans are demanding.
Yeah.
You can imagine you are out there donating those kind of monies, and on the other side, millions of Kenyans are gripping, saying SHA is not working, and it is only ODM and their leader who knows it is working. How do you go donating these millions and our people, the poverty levels in our country are increasing because of government's policies? How do you go out bringing some people to do development in this country in the name of Andani, and it is only 2 leaders who can defend that thing? Across the world, it is being rejected. It is only two leaders who are seeing the importance of Adani. And you want to tell us everything is well, we should keep quiet, we should give leaders space to... You are only a leader if you are doing the right thing. If you are occupying a public office and you are doing wrong things, don't expect Kenyans to keep quiet. We are in a democratic society. We will tell you off.
Okay. Sipping coffee.
Let me check as he swallows.
I don't think he struggled, but
as he swallows.
As he swallows, that was a hard one to pick. That was a hard one to pick. So many questions. How do you? I felt not in a position to answer such. But then, let me come back to you. DG,
I will also answer.
Just because I also asked them the same question on the basis of fairness. The president was the mountain for a whole week, and it was a whole set of discussion. What really stood out for you? You are there. What did you see?
Campaigns. Yeah. I saw government struggling to justify themselves to an interested population, period. But you know, people had been urged to come out in large numbers because of these listening allowances, attending allowances. You remember the leaders from the leaders from that region.
Can you authenticate that, sir?
These things. In a country like Kenya, there are sources of information. This information could be right or wrong. But when it eats headlines of the media of paid attendance crowds, it tells a lot. Let me share something with the viewers, which I know many of them know too well. We had the 3rd President of the Republic of Kenya.
Yeah.
The only president who delivered, as far as I'm concerned, tangible development that people could see. And it is on that basis that the 4th President of the Republic of Kenya had also to continue, because you remember he was the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for Finance.
Yeah.
So he was very close to the policies that the government was implementing then, by virtue of mobilizing resources and being the top officer in that government. And we could see that continuity. And that's why we can say projects like this expressway behind us here, which were implemented under the 4th President of the Republic of Kenya. But the main foundation was done by none other than the 3rd President of the Republic of Kenya. What did he do? Unlike many other national leaders, he sat down. I've said before, President Kibaki, I think he was a very super planner. who could sit down, put the country before him, and divide, ensure every part of the country has something. You don't have to go making handshakes for development to happen in a specific part of the country. No. Kibaki, even those who opposed him, had a way of ensuring there is development trickling to those regions. And then he planned to an extent, he almost lost his re-election. People would want to believe it had been stolen. People will say a lot of stories.
Yeah.
But the fact will always remain. You see, when you see leaders, whether deputy governors, you are in the office, and within less than a year, you are on top of vehicles again, greeting people wherever you go. I'm telling you, it is sad for the country.
Okay.
Yes. So, to answer your question, because it was very specific, what did I see? Personally, I saw a lot of politics. Personally, I saw things not even a county minister can go and officiate, and we saw some politicians taking president to. I can't. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
I think maybe we. Well, at least give it. We did not see what we saw in Nairobi when the president visited that part of the country. In Nairobi, there were a lot of thuggerism. A lot of people are following these meetings.
Yeah.
A lot of theft. A lot of people hurting each other. At least those people, as they had been directed by their leaders to attend in large numbers to get what they can get, because that is the only thing available. The rest are not working.
Okay.
We have a university down here. They are out in the street here demonstrating for them to be heard. We have students like myself. We must go out in the streets to demonstrate.
I've not seen in the streets students.
Students. Why? Because of this financing education model. We have seen them. And you see, these ODM Kenya Kwanza leaders, particularly the top, they are not seeing that. Everything is working according to them. But down here to the people, we have a challenge.
So let me ask you this question, and allow me to, general, all of you, to answer this. So the president was there. So how important was that visit, Dr. Terry? How important was it? Basically simple. How important was it?
Let me say, it is important as far as politics is concerned.
Okay.
Because we know for sure that distribution of resources in a democratic state like Kenya is done through the relevant institutions. We do budgets, we distribute resources to development programs, not personally, but they're done through institutions. So the president going to launch a road or going to launch the lowest I saw was something else, all these things, and they relaunch some of the programs were relaunched. Some of the projects were relaunched. For me, it does not necessarily add up to really anything. But again, as DG has said, what are the implications? And we look at the implications.
Yeah.
That the president is going to a place for the place to get development. The president goes to a place, if you don't play the game, you don't get development. This song has been sung before. In the 1990s, we were here. We were still grown men, above 18, and we watched it. Another thing is that you make people poor to be able to control. I mean, why are we not concerned about poverty, unemployment?
Yeah.
So many youth out here who have nothing to do. Gambling craze, killing youths. Youths are now going into drugs, going into alcohol, going into gambling. Why are we not really looking at real issues that will save this country, will improve this country? for now and in the future.
Yeah.
We are killing the futures of our country. For me, the visit was more of a politics than development of the country. And I don't think I'll be far from the truth, and that should be.
Yeah.
Another issue I was, just to respond to some of the issues raised, money and elections. Our colleague Odoyo has said, people giving money and all that. But, the president is by himself. Last year said, no, banned all state officers from these harambes and giving the donations. I think is one of them. There is also the issue of money and elections. And we have tried in this country, and other countries have also tried, to try to control money and elections, so that you are not voted in because you are the person who has the largest amount of money. Because democracy is about ideas.
Yeah.
Ideas and plans to be able to save the country, to be able to develop the country. So this is, it introduces some toxicity into the environment, into political environment. That if I don't have money, I can't, and we see this even in our local places.
Yes.
MPs, senators, that people come and bribe voters to be elected. Is it a democracy or a kleptocracy? Because this money again is obtained from where? From corruption. Most of it is from corruption, not genuine earnings that people are getting. Otherwise, businessmen should be in parliament. Top businessmen should be in parliament.
Okay. Really?
Let me plug in a few holes about some of the things, especially what the deputy governor for Machakos began with. He told us that it is not giving money, it is the amounts that are given that are so big when people are suffering. I want to remind you that what Uhuru gave at Kasarani to the Akorino sect was 111 million. And that is much bigger than what President William Ruto has given in the near past. I also want to remind you that King David gave gold and silver worth 1.3 trillion then and announced it. And he said, this is my personal donations. If you want to read it, go to Chronicles chapter 29 verses 3.
Chapter?
29 verse 3. That is what King David gave as personal. And that was a king then. And it is the kings, therefore, and the leaders who help build churches. Churches are supposed to help appoint leaders, anoint leaders, just like Prophet Samuel did to Saul and Prophet Samuel did to David. That is what the Bible says. But when you see even bishops come here and tell you what the right hand gives, the left should not know, then you wonder what is going to happen. In fact, when St. Paul told church leaders to go into the mountains, bring trees and build for God church, I don't know how those trees would have been hidden from people to see. Then when you say the president gives so much money compared to what he earns, I think the only earning of the president that you publicly probably know is his salary. But I remember one of the newspapers reported that his chicken business alone was bringing 567 million a year. This is a guy who has farms, this is a guy who has real estate, this is a guy who has hotels, and you want to confine him to a salary of slightly over 1 million shillings. I think we are getting it all wrong. And you also talked about Adani, and you said, oh, the president wanted to do what? Adani was the first PPP initiated by President William Ruto. Remember, the expressway that you eloquently talk about under the SGR were the PPP under Uhuru. And they are largely private so far because we pay for them to use them to service the loan that Uhuru taken. The reason why President William Ruto has to adjust taxes so as those loans are paid. So I think we need to wake up. When President William Ruto said, we have noticed that in this country, public enterprises are not doing well. So we get into public-private partnerships so that we do well. Then you keep making noise.
Yeah.
You are making noise about that public-private partnership, but you never made noise when Uhuru was using the same method to build the expressway. You never made any noise when Uhuru was using the same method to build SGR. What we are happening in this country, there are people in this country who believe only them can be presidents in this country. Anybody out their side, their circles, who sneaks their way into the presidency must be fought at all costs with every weapon available. But But also, we must remember that when you say only Kibaki did development, I also must remind you of a few atrocities done during the Kibaki regime. This is during the Kibaki regime that we got the Anglo-Leasing disaster that almost brought this country down. It is during the Kibaki regime that the Standard newspaper was raided by goons, and his own interior PS came to tell the public that when you rattle a snake, prepare to be bitten. This snake he meant was, if you rattle the government, you will be bitten. But President William Ruto has tolerated any negative reporting from the media without as little as shutting down the TVs the way Uhuru Kenyatta did. So I think we must treat all the presidents the same way. The same way we treated the past one.
So it's good for you to rebuttal on that. But then how important was that visit? That's the same question I asked.
Important was that visit?
Yes.
Now let's go to the visit. From time immemorial, we have also agreed here right now that the president has a right to visit every part of this country, just for the people to familiarize themselves with him, for him to familiarize himself with the development projects going in those areas. Actually, to say that when the president goes somewhere and you behave well, that is when you get development projects, is to get it wrong. Because even as the president was going to Central, the budgets had already been done, and I don't think he was going to come and change it, that those people behaved well, so give them this. I think we are getting it all wrong. This idea of every time you get an opportunity, you want to attack the president and the presidency is being unpatriotic. But I wanted to say something about SHA, because people keep on saying SHA is not working. But they do not even understand the distinction between SHA, between Taifa Care, between SHIF, between chronic diseases, between health infrastructure fund. I want to tell you here today that the president came up with something called Taifa Care to replace the UHC under Uhuru Kenyatta, which did not even take off, yet we launched it in Kisumu that we are going to have universal health care. So President William Ruto replaced it with Taifa Care. In Taifa Care, he came up with an organization called SHA, Social Health Authority. Social Health Authority is going to manage 4 funds. SHIF, which is exactly identical to NHIF, Chronic Diseases and Emergency Diseases Fund. It is also going to get primary health care, which is the prevention of diseases, and it is also going to manage the Health Infrastructure Fund. All those funds, the only one that you need to contribute to get services under is SHIF.
Thank you.
But the problem we have, like we have in this country, 39 counties remit their SHA contributions 3 months later. It means anybody working in those 39 counties, when you go to hospital, you will not get service. And what do? Believing that you have paid, you run away and say, oh, SHIF is not working. Oh,
allow me to still ask you this question. I don't know why you're skirting around it. How important was the president's visit to the mountain? I
have already told you the president's visit to the mountain.
Yes.
The president needs to visit every part of the country. Not only for him to see the development projects going on there, but also the people to familiarize themselves with them. In this country, we even have a photo of the president in every public office because he's a symbol of unity of this country. So to come and guard President William Ruto should not visit any part of the country when all other presidents, even when you say that, oh, he goes on to rooftops, even Kenyatta himself, the old one, Kenyatta 1, used to drive a Mercedes, and anywhere he finds people, he would stop. The only difference today is people are many, and where the president goes, the crowd is much bigger. Jomo Kenyatta and Moi used to find a handful by the roadside, stop, greet them, and that is exactly what is happening. But now the population is 57 million. Then the population was 7.5
That is all
million.
pushing you off your seat.
A little comment. When we make reference to the Bible, we shouldn't literally use the Bible to allow
to allow my waters. Let's see.
Israel, ancient Israel, was a theocracy. It was a theocracy. It was not a democracy. In a democratic system of government, we have the constitution and the laws. Constitutionalism. We must follow the values and the principles enshrined in our constitution. And I want you to challenge that if you want, if you will. Because Israel was a theocracy. There was no separation between civil authority and ecclesiastical authority. And that must be clear. So David could do whatever he wanted in the house. He built the house of the Lord himself, or his son did. Solomon did. build the house, but he gathered and he donated those materials. So what I'm trying to say is this. I think we need to follow our constitution and laws of this country to grow our democracy and also to ensure that development takes place in our country. We ensure we have quality education. We invest in education. We invest in what matters most. We cannot invest money haphazardly and neglect what is important to the public, what is in public interest. There is an issue here. If anybody wants to donate and be that philanthropic, let them also disclose the sources of their income and show the KRA and show KRA taxes paid. But at the bottom of it, and I will say, fundamentally, what does our constitution say about these things? What do our laws say about these things? Public officers are not supposed to do these things. You can do it quietly, send it to Harambe, but we cannot sit here, Victor. We cannot sit here, Victor, to justify actions that actually do not promote public interest. They don't promote. And the two wrongs do not make a right, Mwanodoyo. Give me a second.
Which of them is
two rights? When you say Uhuru did this, and therefore we must correct ourselves as we move forward. If someone violates the law today, we cannot justify the violation of the law tomorrow. Let us be serious and ensure that we have a Kenya that is governed by the law and not by men. It's governed by law, and that's democracy.
Okay.
Victor, let me, this one, if it goes, the people will think I'm running away from the question.
No. You're not running away from it. We are still here. I will give you time to respond to it. I want to take a break.
I've forgotten the thinking line. Because when you tell me that the same bishops come here and read for you that Bible that came from the times of Israel, and they say what the left hand gives, the left hand should not know. But when you want now to defend, you say that was Israel then. And which section of law, which part of the Constitution says a president cannot donate money to any needy project, including church?
That is not what we are saying. Are public officers allowed to make contributions in Harambes? Tell me yes or no.
Which Harambee did President William Ruto go to in the recent past? He has never been to any Harambee since he was appointed president.
What is
if
the
I
donation?
go to church and make a church donation, that is not...
It was Harambee to the building, come on. It was Harambee for building, and he said clearly, I'm giving money.
I'm giving new rules here for the president that he should now tell us where the money came from, the taxes he paid. Are you going to make new rules? Whatever you give in church, do you tell us where it came from?
Yes.
Do you tell us how much tax you pay?
I'll show you.
You have not told us how much tax you pay. You have not told us where your money comes from, but you want the president to tell us.
That's not what we are saying.
Well,
these rules should apply to everybody.
Yes, go to parliament and create them, but don't come and create them on a TV station.
No, you are creating it yourself. A theocracy, Israel, a theocracy, and then you want to borrow from a theocracy.
Okay, let us go that part of the Bible and leave the one that you are comfortable with.
In the book of Chronicles 29:3 that you talked about.
Yes.
29:9 actually.
It says that besides in my devotion to the temple of my God, I now give my personal treasures of gold and silver for the temple of my God, over and above everything I have provided for this holy temple. I don't know how we can relate this to
if you looked
politics.
at NIV,
how much was it?
NIV states how much.
Let's take a break. But before that, why don't you take a look at the weather forecast of the day?
And that is King David and
But I am entitled to my opinions.
That is not biased opinion.
It doesn't matter.
Let's continue. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Okay. I ask a question, and gentlemen, because I have only 20 minutes to finalize this. So, DG, the perception that has been out there, we all know how Mount Kenya supported president during that election, and he said that he's been a friend to the mountain for close to 20 years. But the perception and the discussion out there for quite some time that the mountain left the president, or whichever way you look at it, and for 6 months he never stepped in that region. But then, do you think that visit changed the perception, or is it too early to talk about the perception change?
No, it's not too early. True, I agree with my fellow panelists that the head of state has a responsibility, has a right to visit any part of the country. It is true he has lost that part of voting block. That voting block, I think, is gone, and the perception that they are back to him. We saw many of particularly the top leadership from that region being echoed in these rallies. I think to some cases, people could say maybe there is an improvement, but to others it meant it was. Now, in politics, you look at there is a kind of unwritten law we follow. If you have a policy and you weigh its consequences and its benefits, then you find the consequences are higher than the benefits, then the collateral damage is too huge. I don't think despite the high cost related to presidential...
Can we just take a caller? There's a caller.
Yes.
Okay, let's just take a caller. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning, too.
Good morning. My name is Victor. What's your name, my brother?
My name is Ekundi from Meru County.
Yes. What is your question or comment? We have got good leaders in studio.
My comment is this.
Yes.
It is unfortunate when you see this somebody by the name of trying to independent president, bearing in mind that he swear and promised that he will follow Constitution of the Kenya. And most of things that he is doing currently, they are the ones which make Gen Z to protest on 25th June. Reason being, in our Constitution, there is no way you can support the president so that he can love in development on your area, or that kind of ideology that he is trying to create. The fact is that our Constitution clearly stipulates on how you can get development in any region of this Kenya.
Yes.
It is defined as per the Constitution. So all of nations are full of seeing so that you can praise the president, so that you can get development. Those things used to happen when we had no new Constitution of 2010. Those are things which used to happen during times of Moi. Hello.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right, that's a caller from Meru. Asante sana. That's Nathan from Meru. DG, continue. So, based on what you said.
Yes. Meaning, actually, in some areas it could have maybe improved, and in many areas it meant it was. So my take is it did not make any positive impact on the part of this administration, despite huge resources that are attributed to any president. Doesn't matter whether it is Ruto or it is you, Victor, and you are the head of state. Moving head of state from point A to B has a lot of costs associated to that. So despite all that costs, I don't think it made the case better for this administration. I'm sorry. And my hypothesis is drawn from the many echoing that we saw in various places wherever they went, and also the reaction after the president left. You know, people could come, they listen, And maybe you could see some stations interviewing people to see at least gauge their feeling, their view of the government after it came and left. I think, and we also saw, actually the national media did a very good job ahead of that tour. They went to most of these places ahead of the president's visit to ask the residents about their feeling and their expectations. Then the same was done when the president left. You could even hear from a caller from that particular region, although that is the one will argue it is a single caller. We have not sampled the rest of the region. So I think it did not achieve much. But I think also within the government, people wanted to see how that particular part of the country will treat the president. Will they echo him personally whenever he is talking? But obviously you can't do that because of security reasons. You know, before the head of state comes somewhere, there is deployment of security agents almost all over. And in many cases, they could be even more than half of the crowd. So in this case, there are things which are not possible. You will come, even if you don't like the president, you will wait him or her to do his thing and then leave. So I think it did not achieve much to improve on the relationship between the government and that particular part of the world. Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you, Victor. I believe and I agree with some of the sentiments that have been made by DG. How do we gauge if things have changed? You know, mostly those people who attend political rallies from a research perspective are those who strongly believe in maybe the leadership or who really strongly believe there's something they want to hear and they come. So they are not the median voter or median local person who attends. Many, as we speak today, I believe, are apathetic people. Many Kenyans are apathetic. They don't want, those who say they don't want to hear politics anymore because politics doesn't seem to deliver. We have had this politics over a long period of time, but it doesn't seem to deliver. And the changes that we have had of government back and forth show you that the president is trying or struggling to have an efficient government. Otherwise, changes could not take place. So by the president going to central, I don't think that fundamentally that changes the opinions of the region. But we are yet to see, because after he has visited, then perhaps opinion polls will be done and then people will get evidence on what has actually happened. Because in any event, what do the people of Kenya need? Delivery to the entire country is what's required.
Another caller, kindly.
Okay, go ahead.
Isaac from Mombasa. Good morning, Isaac.
Good morning, sir.
Mambo
How are
vipi?
you, Victor?
Salama nashukuru. What's your question or comment?
I have a comment.
Yes.
When they say the president akuvisit mahali hakuji na kitu, hakuna maana akuje mahali. Let us take Western Kenya, Western part of Kenya, because I come from Western part of Kenya. Ukilinganisha Uhuru Kenyatta, uongozi wa Uhuru Kenyatta wa miaka 10, project yenye alifanya Western ni moja. Hiyo barabara kutoka Webuye tu Kitale, hiyo peke yake. Haya, ukilinganisha na zenye William Ruto amefanya Western venye amekuwa anashinda akienda Western, unapata kuna development nyingi zenye ame-initiate zenye ziko ongoing kwa hizo miaka 2. So president kutembelea mahali sometime anajua landscaping yake, anajua development state ya place. So president si eti akikuja ni showing off, lakini kuna vitu anaangalia mwenyewe kwa ground kushinda kuambiwa na viongozi. Sometimes hata kiongozi mnaweza kuwa na yeye anaweza ambia president kuna shida fulani, lakini president hawezi amini, but president akikuja anaona. So for me,
William Ruto kutembea Kenya, wacha aendelee tu kutembea Kenya. Kwa story ya nini ya kucontribute kanisa. Contribution kwa kanisa wao wanasema ni roho yako. Unaweza hata toa mali yako yote ama utoe kitu chochote kenye unaweza. So you can't manage somebody who contribute kanisani.
Thank you. Asante sana. He said that the president should continue doing the tours, and apparently he's very much aware of some of these places that even some of you are not aware of. Right? Na kutoa ni moyo. All right. Go ahead.
Now, I was saying that the expectations are delivery across the country. And I think it ties well with the president going all over the country as he goes to ensure. In fact, president said he didn't go for politics in Murima. He went for development. So how do we gauge something else that he didn't go to do? But of course, there was more politics than perhaps the development we are talking about.
Yes.
But everyone needs investments in development for the future of this nation.
Yes.
Because leaders will come and go, but the country remains. I had someone, the reason why I'm thinking that perhaps the target was not realized. I had two people yesterday, one saying 5 million people attending the meetings. I don't know how he took the tally to know that those crowds can add up to 5 million, but that's a question for another day. But I also had another person saying that peace and tranquility in the country is paramount. I believe that, I agree. But what I don't agree with is using it as a threat. That you people keep quiet, do not raise your voices, because this is going to cause chaos in the country. Peace is much, much better. We have had this, Victor, when I hear this, actually I know exactly what is likely to follow. That you have a repressive state that will, in the name of peace and security, represses its population. I hope we are not going there. We did that in the late 80s, 90s, we did all that. It didn't work well for us. Development stalled. We concentrated on fortifying the state and forgot about development. I think at our stage of development, I would say, as a country today, our focus should be on the key problems or challenges that the country is facing. Unemployment, education for the youth and for the future, the right education, quality and access to education by all. These, among others, are very important issues that we should be addressing as a country. Even that piece, we can address it through the school system.
All right. The perception change? Will it change the political landscape moving forward?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yes.
I told you in my opening remarks that when the president was planning to go to the mountain, I was nervous. That is not like me. But when he went and came back, I was very impressed. I have had people trying to find excuses to explain why the president managed to go to Central amid ululations, amid praises, and amid song and dance. And this is the reason why there was a lot of business, to an extent that when the king of Wamunyoro went to a church in Mwiki, he had to hire goons to attack him so that the president can be blamed. But nevertheless, let's start with one thing.
No.
Please, your time will come.
How do you say that?
Don't allow that.
Excuse me.
No.
Mheshimiwa
Chairman, Honorable Chair.
We will talk about it.
No.
He hired. Please withdraw that.
Why are you saying the president hired people who...
No, we have not said so.
You have said.
No, we have not said so.
So let me finish. You will handle that later.
Please withdraw that.
I don't care if you are annoyed, but I will give you time to talk about it.
It's not being...
So let's go on.
It's not fair to make such a comment, actually.
Let me
tell you, hire goons to beat you up.
Is it fair to say the president hired the goons that beat him up?
No, the president.
That's what Rigathi said when he left.
But we have security agencies.
And he is not here.
We have security agencies.
It doesn't matter. He's listening wherever he is.
Okay.
Please.
And where he said it, I wasn't there. The president wasn't there.
Excuse me.
Please, you are not going to guard me here.
Who said that he hired the goons to beat him?
Rigathi said the president hired.
No, who said that Rigathi hired
it is now me saying.
Allow me to do this because this is a national broadcaster. Just withdraw that statement.
Please.
Why? If Rigathi has not withdrawn saying that it is the president who hired people,
that was them. Just withdraw this. You've said.
How do I withdraw it? And it's already people have had it.
No, just withdraw the statement.
That
will do a lot of damage.
Yes.
Just undo. Just.
If Rigathi said the president hired people,
that was it.
Chairman,
but you see now,
hired people to attack him in charge.
Withdraw. You have no evidence. Withdraw.
Did Rigathi have evidence that the president hired people?
That is not here.
I think let it pass. Let it pass. We cannot authenticate that. Personally, I cannot.
But we also should have called Rigathi to authenticate that the president hired goons to attack him.
You know, saying it in studio. If Rigathi was not talking here.
Where did you think I was there to hear that? I also had it in studio.
Chair,
let's do this.
Respectively.
Just
please. Keep that when I finish.
No. Just withdraw. I love problems. Just withdraw. Personally, I will take responsibility. Just withdraw the statement. If you
How
don't
do I will give me the words to say?
No, just withdraw the statement.
You are an eloquent man.
Please.
You know what to
Just
say.
Okay,
withdraw.
let's say that Rigathi didn't hire goons to attack him.
What you said, what I said is wrong.
Oh, no, wrong. It is you who knows it is wrong. Me, I don't think it is wrong.
Okay.
And that I cannot do. That
I
I
don't
don't
withdraw the statement I made.
So do you
I
withdraw
withdraw the statement.
Yeah, the statement stands withdrawn.
Thank you. Okay. Let's continue.
Now, let's see. When we say Mount Kenya, president has lost Mount Kenya, that is being said by the politicians who are anti-President William Ruto. When the president went to Mount Kenya, it was clear that he has not lost Mount Kenya. In fact, I was wondering why people were really waiting to see how president goes to Mount Kenya. When president went to PC, they never waited for that. When he went to Western, they never waited for that. When he went
is it a glimpse of what you should expect in 2027?
The question I want to ask, why should one region have a negative attitude towards the president?
Not attitude, but per se, but having in mind the kind of support that region, Mount Kenya to be specific, gave President William Ruto.
Let me give you the answer.
Just a minute. The kind of support that President William Ruto got from the mountain. And the perception out there is that because of, the deputy president, former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua is now no longer in government, then a lot of changes must have taken place thereafter. So did that change?
The changes that took place was there was a spirited campaign in the Mount Kenya region led by Rigathi Gachagua to reject the president. Is it that true? It is true. He has been campaigning all over the place, including Meru, including Embu, including Kiambu, and of course Mwiki, that the president should not be acceptable. In fact, he's been telling them that the president betrayed them. The president did not betray anyone. So
what I'll do is the perception that is there. Is it changing? Is it a glimpse of what you should expect in 2027 that the voting bloc will, because politics will play its role at the right time. So will it change, or the crescendo it will take pace slowly, or it will be definitely there?
What I must say,
President knows.
Wait, let me
talk to the DJ.
He spoke about it.
Right.
First, allow me to say this. Even when I don't agree with the some of the policies of the government, I never make a mistake of depicting any leader in this country personally in a very bad way, but I challenge the policies. That is not to say we have the right to make some willed and substantiated comments about our leaders. I think we need to respect that. Number two is there is one writer, Eduardo Galeano. He once said, East never tells you goodbye, but it tells you, see you later. What is that in relation with what we are talking about? We have history of that particular part of the world.
Yeah.
Remember, during the tenure of President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, he went to an extent of even giving the late Kanu Secretary General a small piece of area to contest, but they still overwhelmingly rejected Kamodo. This is a region that we will say civilization education, Christianity started from that part of the world.
Yeah.
They know a lot about themselves. This is a community that is deeply in business. They participate hugely in economic development of this country. What does that one mean to leadership of this country? Any policy that is anti what they do, they will notice very fast, and they will speak out so fast. I don't think, irrespective of what the government does, unless they change their policies, unless they truly become inclusive, as opposed to what we are seeing currently, I think there is not much that is likely to change ahead of the next general election. I will also add this: there is a perception that those who are now joining the government, they are coming to replace others. We are seeing even an attempt to remove the Speaker of the National Assembly. We are also seeing an attempt to create a certain position so that you dilute the position of Chief Cabinet Secretary. You know, this perception, it could be perception, but it must be added well so that Kenyans can see, so that Kenyans can see the inclusion of other leaders from whichever political formation is not coming to replace someone else, but is an undertaking to ensure we have national cohesion, national inclusivity, and we also be fair when it comes to development. Development, the budgets to implement development are done in Parliament, National Parliament, whether Senate or National Assembly, but over 90% is National Assembly. So we need to communicate. We need to include leaders from this part of the world so that nobody is seen to be excluded or being replaced.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Because of time, just 30 seconds if you can.
Okay.
I
agree with inclusivity, and inclusivity must be seen to be done. And I see that there are people not satisfied that they are included in government, and I think government has kept quiet. I don't want to mention names. Secondly, professionalization of public service is very critical to our country, and it should be done now. Actually should have been done yesterday. You read from the newspaper about jobs is here. Nation headline, state jobs for those with godfathers. Let me tell you that it is sad. As a political scientist, it's very sad. I look at administrative systems since independence, how we were actually geared towards reforming our administration to make it amenable to development, because to the challenges the country was facing. As we are today, we are thinking politics all the time. We have even emasculated the powers of the Public Service Commission. And we get in our country people, children of who is who, employed in public service. They have no interest, perhaps they have no background, they will not commit, they are not patriotic to the country. And those are the ones that are going to handle civil service affairs in the future. It's a very sad situation in our country, but it can be corrected. And I hope those who are supposed to take action are listening.
Thank you. All right. Oide.
I think what I have to say is to the media in general, let's be patriotic and let's be fair in reporting. I told you that there was a newspaper in this country who had a headline reading "A lying president" and put photo of Raila Odinga and said a greedy watchdog, and put the former PS for broadcasting and called him a condemned tyrant, and put the picture of Governor Nairobi and called him a garbage governor.
What is a closing remark?
So let us be fair in how we call people names. Let us be fair in how we report. I can tell you for free that in the last 6 months, this particular newspaper has not had a single headline pro-government or pro-the president. It can't be that however bad you are, there is nothing positive about you that is worth.
Is there hope for this country?
The hope for this country must be done by politicians and the media coming together to show the people the direction to development.
All right. Thank you. So there's some feedbacks here very quickly. Based on what you've discussed, Kenyans actually sent messages, and let me just take 3 of them. One is called Jacob. Hi, my name is Job Wakoli from Bungoma. The president is the CEO of the country. He is a symbol of national unity. So just like a good father should walk around and see how his family is doing, it is good for our brothers in Turkana, Taita Taveta, Tuwait, Bungoma and other areas. To also feel the presidency. Waswahili walisema mgeni njo mwenyeji apone. The 1 week, another 1 week engagement with the people was good. At least the president can now read what the people want. As at now, the people are still agitated. This is Laban Kirui from Litein. Finally, there is another one here who says that there's 2. This is for you. Ajet Makod Cliff says that, morning Victor, I watched a bit of the morning talk with Machakos Deputy Governor and others. A nice one. Thank you for the gentleman. Finally, this one's from Douglas Mutinda who says, ambia DG sisi watu wa Masaku tumesema wanafanya kazi poa. Are we done with that? Thank you so much.
I can say something.
By then they are friends.
I can say something.
They are friends. So before we finish this, we'll be taking a link where the Cabinet Secretary for Health, that is Eden Dwali, is now launching the NHIF Pending Medical Claims Verification Committee ongoing at Afya House. I think we can take a look at that. But first of all, let me thank my guest for coming, Deputy Governor of Machakos, Francis Mwangangi, of course, Daktari. All right, let me take that. And Odoyo Widi, thank you so much for joining me, gentlemen. Asante sana. Let's go to Afya House straight.
For the payment made to services not provided. Further, I call upon all the stakeholders, healthcare providers, the SHA board and management, the oversight agencies, and the public to support the work of this committee to allow integrity, fairness, accountability, and transparency. Thank you all, and may God bless you as you undertake this very, very important national duty to make sure that all of us sitting together here, we care about the prosperity of our nation, and the prosperity of our nation is in providing a very good health care to every citizen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Before you take your leave, Cabinet Secretary, I want to ask the chair of the task force to come on this other side to acknowledge and appreciate the task that you have given them ahead and on behalf of the entire task force members. Come this side.
Does it notice?
Chairman.